e toe whaatalofa atu I le mamalu o le tato au mai mua le nei tae au, ma lolta I fua, ma lolta wa ta I tiuten fuafuanga le nei aso. Ia o le nei polkalame ua whaasalau tu sao atu mai le tato ofisa I nei porirua, ia mal polkalame nei ta ua o le youth program, ia po se polkalame e patino I tupulanga talavou. E whasosoani le atina e ino o langa o alum whanau o le tato atunu. Ia o loo ingoa o Kesila Lam Sam. Ia maa whaatasi nei ma le alita lavo ia Henry Fereti. Ia o Henry o se tasi o le au whaau o le University of Victoria. Ia I le Faculty of Commerce mo le nei tausanga. A warm talofa lava to all our listeners and viewers tuning in this morning. Welcome to our youth program. We are happy you can join us. As I've mentioned before, the main purpose of this program is to support our young people to grow into capable adults and encourage youth engagement within our communities, as well as fostering positive connections within our communities and in the wider community. I am very happy this morning to introduce our guest, Henry Fereti. Henry is graduating tomorrow, actually, with a Bachelor of Commerce, majoring in Commercial Law and International Business. Talofa, Henry, how are you?
Talofa, Kesila, thank you for that wonderful introduction. Talofa tufoi tato atunuu, pa ia malu tato atunuu mawhaio na maua mai tato polkalame le nei taiao. To answer your question, I'm really well, Kesila. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. We're very happy to have you on our program this morning. So we'll get straight into the questions, if that's okay with you. I want to take you to the very beginning of your secondary and tertiary education journey. I know you completed your secondary education at Sāmoa College or Colegio Sāmoa. Then you moved to the National University of Samoa, where you also completed your foundation studies in the year 2021. And at the end of that academic year, you were offered a scholarship to New Zealand. How did this scholarship come about? For some of our viewers in Samoa who don't, and around New Zealand and Porirua who don't understand the school system back in Samoa, if you can briefly explain a little about how you felt and what your experience was, please.
Okay, thank you for the question, Kesila. So yes, as you mentioned, I completed high school from Sāmoa College, por Colegio Sāmoa. Similar to New Zealand high schools, you need to complete a New Zealand qualification or NCEA qualification. For Samoa, you also had to complete a high school qualification. And these qualifications were Sasasi or Samoa School Certificate and Sasalasi or Samoa School Leaving Certificate. So after I completed Sasalasi in my final year of high school, I then was able to attend foundation year, Politau Sanga Whaasau Uni at the National University of Samoa. O le mai o le semester mua po semester 1, sa mawhai e ona apalai ta maiti scholarship o le Manaaki. So le nei scholarship, the Manaaki Scholarship is a scholarship that is funded by the Government of New Zealand and was originally looked after by MFAT, but is now under the watch of Education New Zealand. The main purpose of the scholarship was to help developing countries better and develop their economy through areas that were identified as needing development. So if you reached a minimum average across semester 1 courses of 75, then you were eligible to apply for the scholarship.
Okay.
For the Manaaki New Zealand Scholarship itself, the application process was quite detailed. So you begin with the application form itself, you fill it in and then you submit it. You then get an invitation to proceed to have a psychometric testing. So this is just to test your cognitive abilities with shapes and numbers. And then you would be invited later on to an interview where a panel would assess your answers and assess your overall application for the scholarship. So in January 2022, I was fortunate enough to receive the news ua whaamanuiaina u I se awanua mo le scholarship nei. Pau lava se langona sai el teimina, mua lava le loto whawhitai, ua maua se aiosi o matu a inga, e mai se nei o matua. My parents sacrificed so much for me. O matua se a inga e lima vai, ai tama whaipea lava nei o matua e provide mo a uma nei o usola iti. My dad always tells me as well, he doesn't want to invest any money into a new house or a new car or even buying more land. His greatest investment is his children. Amen to
that.
Yes. The second feeling I felt ole lotoma walalu. Itsele lava tamaiti sa apalai mul scholarship apitai. There were only a few scholarships that could be given out. So I was very humbled that I was chosen to be one of the recipients of this scholarship. And it was such an honor because it would mean that I would expand my knowledge and experience and then bring these new ideas and skills back to Samoa.
Thank you, Henry. That was very interesting and so many details. Very empowering as well, I believe. And that brings me to my next question that I'm sure you've had your fair share of. What were some of the challenges or barriers that you faced at the beginning of your journey? I believe you were 17 and one of the youngest, if not the youngest scholar from Samoa in your year when you moved to New Zealand for your bachelor's, and your parents and family resided in Samoa at the time. So how did you feel? Was it a challenge? Please share with us your experience.
Yeah, thank you for the question, Kesila. So yes, as you mentioned, I was 17 when I moved, and I was the youngest in my cohort. So that in itself was such a challenge. There were a lot of paperwork that had to be filled out just because I was still considered a minor when I moved alone to Wellington. So that in itself was a challenge. But other than that, one of the first difficulty that I had was it was very difficult to express myself through my culture or our Samoan nanganu'u in places that were really dominated by Bālangi. So for example, in my first year, I stayed at one of the university halls, and at that university hall, all the residents were basically Bālangi, so it was very hard to express myself. For example, one time at the dining hall, I would walk in with my Iulavalava and people would sometimes laugh and call it a skirt. So it was very difficult just to do basic things that I did in Samoa, so like wearing a Iulavalava and stuff like that. Even sometimes I would want to speak Samoan or Samoan language with a friend, but there were hardly any Samoans around. It was mostly dominated by Bālangi, so that was really one of the main challenges that I faced. Also with the classroom, sometimes it was difficult to express myself inside the classroom or my ideas because it was mainly white dominated. So that was the first difficulty that I experienced. The second one, and I'm sure a lot of other scholarship students face this one as well, is homesickness. So being far away from family, they're always your major supporter. So being away from your support system for that long, 3 years, is very difficult. So I also miss my mom's cooking because I can't really cook. So that was another reason why I was homesick. But yeah, those were basically the main two challenges that I faced.
Thank you, Henry. And my last question before we finish this segment, the first segment of our program, were there any positive outcomes from these experiences that you've shared earlier? I know you've mentioned that you were homesick and it was difficult to express yourself through your culture in places that were dominated by Bālangis. What were some positive outcomes? I'm sure you have a lot from these experiences that you've shared with us earlier.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Yeah, despite those difficult experiences, I was still able to find some positives in those difficult experiences and find the silver lining. So firstly, I was able to find communities that I could relate to. As I mentioned, at the university hall that I was staying at, there were some Samoan students, quite a few, but there were still some, as well as other Pasifika students from around the Pacific, for example, Tonga, that I was able to connect with. And those students were basically, they've been born and have lived in Wellington their whole lives, and we're still good friends to this day. So despite having that difficulty to express myself, I was still able to find some community and find lifelong friends. And through that experience that we shared together, I have been more confident to share my culture with others who might not be Samoan. So that's one of the positives that I found.
That's amazing.
Yes. Second one is that I was able to find love and support from others who might not be my biological family or ainga, but have shown me what true ainga means, which is love for one another that knows no limits. So this really helped with my homesickness.
Yes.
So many aunties and uncles at the Newtown Church, which we attended, have offered us food. They've told us to come to their homes, they'll cook for us, or even if we needed a place to stay, extra blankets, they opened up their homes to us, and we were very grateful. And they even offered us rides countless times, even at unconventional hours like late nights. But yeah, my friends also, their uncles and aunties have also shown me so much love. It's taught me as well that although you may be far away from your biological ainga, you can still find ainga everywhere. And it's also taught me that I need to show the same love and kindness that was shown to me by these people. So those are some of the positives that I've experienced.
Thank you, that's amazing. Shout out to the aunties and uncles at the church that gave Henry a ride.
Shout out to Newtown Ifakasa.
Okay, we will be talking about the courses that you took at Victoria University. And as I've mentioned at the beginning of our program, you are graduating tomorrow. So
thank you.
Huge congratulations from all of us here at Sāmoa Capital Radio on
Thank
that
you so
milestone.
much.
And to all the Pacifica students and all the Samoan students that are graduating this week, congratulations.
Congratulations.
We are all proud of you. You are graduating with a Bachelor of Commerce, majoring in commercial law and international business. That's all. Can you explain a little about these courses and why you were interested? What was your vision when you decided to take on these courses?
Yeah, so thank you for the question. So yes, as you mentioned, I am graduating with a Bachelor of Commerce, majoring in commercial law and international business. Originally, when I was applying for the scholarship, I only applied for one major, which was international business. So international business is basically a course or a major that allows you to look at how businesses internationalize, some of the methods that they use to go into different countries, and how business basically works between different cultures or different countries. So that's what international business basically is in a nutshell. But international business is very interesting. As I went on throughout the 3 years studying international business, I realized that going into different countries, you would need to understand their laws, their rules. So that's why I chose to take on commercial law as another major, as a second major, just to help with the international business course. But international business itself was very interesting just because it allows you to look at different cultures. I never realized how important your culture is, especially with business, until I took the international business major. So the real reason why you have to understand the culture of different people or different countries is because you can't just go into another country, or you can't just internationalize into another country. You have to understand the market there, understand the people and their culture. Their culture shapes how they think, how they buy, so stuff like that. So that was one of the more interesting parts of my major, just learning about different cultures. And it really helped develop a new mindset for me. Now I feel like I'm more open-minded. I'm more open to understanding new things, to new ways of thinking, new perspectives, because of this course or this major.
Thank you, Henry. I understand that you took Pacific Studies, the Pacific Studies course as well. I just want to briefly touch on your Pacific Studies course. What did you learn while taking this course, as it's for Pacific students? And would you encourage other upcoming Pacific students to take this course?
Yeah, thank you for the question. This is a very interesting question. I really do love Pacific Studies. The first time I enrolled in it, I really didn't think much of it. I was just like, oh, it's something to fill up the space, just to get more points. But when I took it, I was like, oh, this is actually really interesting. I should have done a major in this, but it's okay. But yeah, so Pacific Studies, there are 2 courses that I took for Pacific Studies. The first one is PASI 101, which is the Pacific heritage, and we basically learn about the different histories, the different stories of different parts of the Pacific. And I found this really interesting because our stories and our history is our most valuable assets as Pasifika people. So it's very good that there is this course to remind us of the Pasifika history and the stories of our people. One very important story that I just found out about through taking this course was the story of Banaba and how there is no land for Banaba anymore just because of phosphate mining. So that was very interesting, but it's still good that they're still keeping their culture alive in different places. The second one I took is PASI 202, which is Globalization and Popular Culture. So with this course, you look at the different contributions that Pasifika people have on popular culture. So for example, sports, we have a lot of Samoan men that play sports, for example, rugby in the NRL, such as Joseph Suali'i, Isaac Tano, to name a few. But yeah, so it's interesting because this develops that mindset that you don't really notice it, but Pasifika people have been contributing a lot to overseas communities, not only to their own communities back home in the islands, but also to these new communities that they've developed. So those are some of the interesting things that I learned taking these PASI courses. And I would highly recommend that people take these PASI courses just because they're very interesting and you really develop a new mindset. And it also helps with your points.
And you convinced me to take the PASI course next year.
I hope I did.
Moving on to our next question. I believe you were a tutor for Management 101 course. And there was a point in your studies where you also looked after Māori and Pacific students. Can you tell us about that experience and how it may have impacted you being Pasifika yourself?
Yeah, thank you for the question. So this all ties back into what I said before about white-dominated spaces or spaces that were like mostly dominated by Pahalangi. So one of them is in the classroom. In many of our courses, it's mostly Pahalangi, but thankfully Management 101 had a Pasifika tutorial, a MPI tutorial, so for Māori and Pasifika students, just so they could feel more safe to share their ideas. And it was basically created as a safe environment for Māori and Pasifika students. So I took this course in 2023, and I had a wonderful tutor who's Fijian. Her name is Zara. So
shout out to Zara.
Shout out Zara. So she was my Māori and Pasifika tutor for Management 101. And through her environment, the environment she created for Management 101, I felt very safe to share my ideas, and basically I wanted to be that same person for another Māori or Pasifika student who took Management 101. I wanted to create a safe space where people can share their ideas, because that was something I really struggled with beginning my studies. And as I got more confidence, I wanted to give back to other Māori and Pasifika students. So in 2024, I applied to be one of the tutors. The first time around, I wasn't given the Māori and Pasifika responsibility, so I was a general tutor. But I still tried and to get like the list of Samoan students or other Māori and Pasifika students that were taking Management 101. I reached out to them and just helped them through the courses. I tried my best to create an environment where they can share their thoughts and their ideas, because it really is challenging moving from Samoa to New Zealand or from any other country and just trying to familiarize yourself. So I wanted to create that environment. And yeah, this year, semester 1, my final semester, I was given the opportunity to be the Māori and Pasifika tutor. So through that responsibility, or through that duty, I was able to help other Māori and Pasifika students. And it was so encouraging and so inspiring, just because when I look at them, they're very capable. They have so many ideas, but I realized that from talking to them, from conversations, that they're still very shy to share, especially in a classroom filled with whālangi. They feel like their opinion doesn't really matter, but it really does. And their ideas are some of the most innovative that I've seen. So I just want to encourage any Māori or Pasifika student out there just to really speak up, raise your voice. Your opinion is very important. So I just wanted to make that known, and it was really emotional because seeing them, I thought of myself back in first year and how shy I was to voice my opinion. Very guilty. But yeah, so it was very, very inspiring role. And yeah, it was one of my most fulfilling parts of my whole university journey.
That's amazing, Henry. I'm actually learning a lot from our interview today. So Henry, we're going to talk about your work experience. You're graduating tomorrow. You've already returned to Samoa, and you've started working after the completion of your scholarship. You are now working at the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Labour. How's work life treating you? Are you enjoying your work experience?
Am I?
Are you?
Thank you for the question. So yes, nga umale June ya studies. So after June, I returned home as part of my contract to serve the bond. So the bond is basically 2 years to serve. And yeah, being back, I waited 2 months before I was able to land the job with the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Labour. And this role at MSIL, which is Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Labour, was given to me through the graduate program in Samoa. So in Samoa, there's a graduate program where returning students get matched to different ministries of the government where they think that our degrees are useful. So I was matched with MSIL within their investment promotion division. So our whole division is industry development and investment promotion, but I'm mainly focusing on investment promotion as the investment promotion officer. So far it's been okay. It hasn't been that stressful yet. But yeah, so work life is very different from student life. Work life, you have a set time to get into work, which is 9, and then a set time to get off. Whereas with uni, you were very flexible with your hours. You were able to Zoom in from your home if you did want to go into class. But with work at Samoa, you're not allowed to work from home, especially with the work or the nature of the work that we do. You're not really allowed to work from home, so you have to get up.
You're also not eligible for leave yet, right? Am I correct?
No, I'm not eligible for leave yet since I just started and I'm still on probation. So, so it's quite different, challenging but rewarding. It's really good experience as well. And my dad always tells me, "Oh, now you know what it's like to work." But yeah, so it's quite good.
Forward to the time my parents tell me that. Wow. Thank you, Henry. The next question I want to ask you is, can you briefly explain the service that you provide for the country in the department that you are working in at MSIL? Yes, specifically in the department that you are in.
Okay, so as I mentioned before, my work is under the investment promotion, and it's basically in the name, investment promotion. So our aim is to promote investment opportunities for foreign investors to come into Samoa and invest. So part of my role is to register the foreign businesses that come into the country. So once we've registered, we've assessed their applications, we give them foreign investment certificates. And with this foreign investment certificate, we're able to identify which industry this business is in, what the business does. And with this information, with this data, we can identify which areas of the country or which industries are really popular with investors. So we can try to promote more of these opportunities to other foreign investors for them to come into the country and basically promote basically get more money for
Wow.
Samoa's economy. And yeah, so it's very interesting, very close to what I did with international business. So I'm very fortunate that it was in God's plan that I used my degree for what I studied. But yeah.
That's very good. Yeah, thank you. What do you hope to give back to your country and your wider community? I know that you're already starting your bond, serving your bond in Samoa, but in the long run, what do you hope to give back to Samoa? And what is your next step for 2026?
Yeah.
Further studies, maybe? Continue working at MSIL?
Oh, yeah. So thank you for the question. So my hope with, I really enjoy the work that I'm currently doing right now with the investment promotion. So I just hope to give back to the community in that way. I'm very passionate about international business because through those studies and through the connections I made, I realized it's It's not just foreign investors being attracted to come into Samoa to invest, but it's also our local Samoan businesses internationalizing, setting up stores, setting up shops overseas as well in different countries. There's a large market out there, and there's plenty of opportunity for our Samoan products. So that's what I hope to continue on doing, to give back to the Samoan community. For the next steps of 2026, of course, continue to serve my bond. If it is with MSIL, then I'm very grateful. It's a great place to work. But if it's in a different ministry, I'm also very grateful for whatever God has in store for me. Further studies, I do want to further my studies, but we'll see with the bond, with the bond requirements, if I'm able to pursue further studies as soon as next year. But yeah, those are just some of the future plans.
Thank you, Whaftai Lava Henry. And my last question before we end our program this morning, who do you want to acknowledge for your success?
So many people.
Me included?
Yes, you included. But yeah, so it really does take a village to raise one person. And even though I'm walking tomorrow as an individual, I walk with, oh my gosh, I'm getting emotional. I walk with so many people with me. Firstly, I'd like to thank God, because without, honestly, His help, His strength, the stage, my bachelor. So it's a huge achievement, and I only owe God for His strength and the wisdom, because it's not mine.
Yes.
I'd also like to thank my parents. As I mentioned, they've been huge supporters and have helped me so much. And they've been very supportive with the move as well. So I'd like to thank my dad, Ronnie, and my mom, Angela, as well as my two younger brothers, David and Harry, if you're listening. So thank you guys for your support. It means so much. I'd also like to thank the church communities, the pastors, not only in Samoa, my church in Samoa, Vaivastai Ifakasa, Pastor Seilala, but also I'd like to thank the church community I found here in Wellington, which is Ifakasa Newtown. So thank you so much to the church communities for all you've done, not only for me, but for other scholarship students that came as well. I'd like to thank the lecturers, the tutors, the university staff.
Yes.
For all that they've poured into not only myself, but for other students that are graduating as well. It's not an easy task teaching the future leaders of tomorrow, but so they're doing a lot. And I just want to give them their flowers and thank you so much for all that you do for the students. I'd like to thank my other family, my extended family, my family here in Wellington, my family in Auckland, who I visit very often, my Auntie Mai and Auntie Lanu, and all the family there, my family in Australia as well, Uncle Lele and the family, my family in Australia, as well as not forgetting my family in Samoa.
Yes.
So my grandma, Malia, if you're watching, if you're listening, thank you so much for all your prayers over me, as well as my friends and everyone graduating. Thank you so much for all that you do. And yeah, those are just some that I can name off of my head.
It really does take a village.
Yeah.
It really does. Thank you so much, Henry, for taking the time to share with us this morning. All the best with future endeavors, and we hope to see you again on our youth program, maybe right after your PhD graduation, hint, hint. I will ask you to come on our program again. Whawhataita le atu le mamalu le atu nu o lo mai mo mai, so se tafol ke lope mai o lo mau mai le nei whaatala noanga. Whawhatai mo le mai moa, whawhatai lango i le nei pol kalame, i le nei tai au. Mana tua talavou.
The youth of today are the leaders of tomorrow.
O le tupulanga talavou, i le taimi nei, o tai o le lumanai. So i fua mai e manuia.